welcome to Doorway to the Paintings. I got another painting for you. We can explore it together. It's about a frost giant. This is one of my favorite paintings, guys. And I really think that this painting is deep, and it's inspired by the Norse mythology, but also just spending time camping when I was a kid and thinking about the abominable snowman or Bigfoot. And in our case here in America, it would be Bigfoot. But the frost giant legend and mythology goes back hundreds of years, maybe even longer than that. So join me now as we look at this painting. And obviously I don't need this. This is just for the show. Got this light here, and you can see the painting better. Now let's look at the painting from the proper viewpoint, proper vantage point, and we'll go on this little adventure. Yeah, this is really one of my favorite paintings that I've ever done. I love the blue. I like the impressionism, which would be the frost giant, and then certain areas of the mountains mixed with reality. Like, this guy looks pretty real. So I'm mixing the two worlds of reality and then impressionism. See how the frost giant blends in with the mountains? If you just took the face and hit it, the top of his head would look like a mountain peak. And of course you got the beautiful full moon over the mountains, the frosty, cold mountains. And you got indication right there of clouds here too. It's really cold. He's an old Norse storyteller. You can probably read it here, but I'll go ahead and read it anyway. The old Norse storyteller has warned people of the frost giants in the mountains. On a lot of my paintings, I give a little story here, and often I'll paint a brown spot or gold or yellow or goldish or bronze and give it kind of a fancy design, and then write a little story in the middle of it to explain what I mean by this painting. And of course he's got the candle there. Makes things kind of cozy, don't you think? Gives him that kind of campy storyteller type look. And this painting probably took me a few hours. Some of my paintings will take an hour, particularly just the nature paintings. I find those really easy. They come very natural to me because that's how I started out, as nature. My nature paintings, like this one, that didn't take long. It's very natural for me, but it's also one of my favorite paintings that I've done. Maybe I'll do a video about that one in the future. But when you go camping, or if you've ever been to the mountains, does your imagination run wild? Do you ever think about what could be lurking in the mountains? Do you maybe tell stories when you're camping? I know we told stories, usually scary stories. But the legend of the frost giant has been around for hundreds of years, maybe thousands, I'm not quite sure. But it comes from Norse mythology. And there might be some corroboration in other mythologies too. It's interesting. I grew up liking Greek mythology. I watched that movie Clash of the Titans when I was a kid, the 1980s version. And that one's still my favorite. The other ones were pretty good, but I like the music a lot in that original, and I think my favorite movies are from the 70s and 80s anyway. But yeah, I was interested in Greek mythology, but later when I studied Norse mythology, I actually became more interested in it, and kind of watching that movie with Kirk Douglas, you know, the Vikings, and then watching Arnold and Conan the Destroyer, and then Red Sonja. Those really made me interested in it. Plus, I got some Scandinavian blood in me anyway, so wanted to look it up. But yeah, this guy here, I don't know if they believe him. I don't know if the townspeople believe him, but he's told them about the frost giants. Let's take a look at that giant. Yeah, that's Impressionism. I kind of gave him a primitive, ancient, primal look. And then how his hand reaches over the peak gives you an idea how big he really is. I exaggerated his bigness to give him more, probably more of a dominating, scary look, more of a threatening, imposing look, but also just a force of nature. I really wanted him to have that primal force of nature type look to him. And it was interesting. I had this hanging up at work, and one of my coworkers didn't notice the frost giant until a few days later. Actually, I think I might have pointed it out to him, and he said, "Oh, the giant's right there." So it kind of worked where I made him look like he blend into the mountains, and the top of his head looks like a mountain peak, which is what I wanted. And then this character here, he's got that storyteller type look, like he's been around. He knows these mountains. He knows what's been going on. He knows the legends. He's got a face that indicates a long life and some wisdom and experience with this territory. You can almost feel the frost on your nose and the cool air, and just kidding. But yeah, then I put more mist down here towards the bottom of the mountains, and then I imagine there would be some kind of a valley here in this area, but you can't see it because it's covered by the character here. You can see how the reflection, the light is hitting his beard, his face, and a little bit of his clothing. And yeah, this took me about 3 hours to do because it wasn't just nature. I had these two characters to make. The frost giant was pretty quick though, but this character here took up most of my time. I might have mentioned in that first video, or one of my, either the introduction video or episode 1, that I like blue a lot. Blue and red are my favorite colors. I don't know, maybe subconsciously because I liked those Superman movies when I was a kid with Christopher Reeve, and I grew up on Superman comic books. But I really like this blue, and it gives a lot of depth, and there's a beauty to it. I don't know if you've really studied or focused on mountains at certain time during the evening or in the morning. They got kind of a purple or bluish color in the darkness. You can see it. You've probably seen pictures of it if you haven't seen it in person, but I know when we were camping I saw that, and that was beautiful, long time ago. This is exaggerated more, and then this is not really, obviously it's not dawn or dusk, sometime late at night, and there's an overwhelming type blue to this whole area. I have another frost giant painting somewhere. I'll probably have to dig it out of the stacks of my paintings and possibly do a video on that one in the future. It's a good one too. Very similar to this one, but different. I think it shows a frost giant next to village homes. This one here is not only one of my favorite frost giant paintings, but it's one of my favorite paintings, period. And it didn't take me long to figure out the concept or come up with this. It just took time to paint it, because actually I'd been thinking about a story like this for a long time. A picture's worth 1,000 words, they say. I hope each painting of mine is worth many stories. And this here, to me, it's thought-provoking. It provokes many stories. And the frost giants is a very, very interesting mythology. Characters from Norse mythology. Very fascinating, very interesting. And it all comes together, I think, in this painting. Let's take a closer look at his face. He's not going to eat us, I promise. But, yeah, I like that primal force of nature look about him. And he knows he's there. Yeah, you pretty much have all the elements in this painting. Where is the frost giant? Is he coming? Where is he? Could he be coming to where you're at? Who knows? Just wanted to see how it looks in the dark. A simple prop. It's a reverse view. I hope you like this painting, guys. I sure enjoyed painting it. Hope you enjoyed exploring it with me on this episode of Doorway to the Paintings. And hopefully I'll be back soon to do another video. I got plenty of paintings, very interesting paintings. Not quite sure which one's coming next, but it's going to be interesting. And if you like this video, consider subscribing. And thank you again. And take care, everybody. See you soon.